Alright, this is going to be our peg in. I'm doing it roughly about 13.5 centimeters. A lot of the plans I get are from Europe, man, and they're in the metric system. So I'm always switching between inches and centimeters and millimeters. So this is about 4 centimeters across. I centered it in these marks right here. These marks right here is where I'm gonna take a drill bit and drill a hole. I'm gonna hollow this out, and that way our pegs will have our string through here. And I'm leaving a little bit for the end piece, leaving this top piece up here for the top piece. And like next steps to drill these out. I'm going to use a 1/2-inch drill bit and drill this out. And then what we do is take a jigsaw and cut this out and then file it down. It's gonna be good. Clean it up. All right, well, I worked on it and I'm satisfied with it. I probably could get it cleaner in here if I put it on a router and route it, but it's not that crucial. I'm happy with it. I put a slight angle on it. Reason why is when I go to mount that on there, it'll be at an angle. Instead of straight like that, it'll be slight that angle. So it's time to start working on the neck of the instrument. Gonna cut this out. Cut it out on the bandsaw most likely. All right, well, I cut it down on the bandsaw and marked where the end piece is going to go. Peg piece. So put that in there. I also rounded off the edges right here to make it smooth. While you're playing. Fretboard is going to go on top of here. So it's going to look a lot like that when we're done. Right. I might have made this a little bit too big, but it's better to be too big than too small because you can't add wood. Take wood off, you can't add back. So it's time to start working on the joint. Joint going into the body here. Gonna do it the same way, just take off a little piece at a time until we can fit it to the joint and get a snug joint, and then we'll move on to the next piece. All right, a little chisel work, a little filing. We got our neck joint. It's not perfect, but a little glue will hold. Plus the soundboard and the fretboard is going to be on top of it holding it, so it shouldn't be a problem. Go ahead and glue that down. Leave this here so we have a flat surface to work with. Because if we cut this out and cut all this out, it might shift on us. Put some tape on it so the glue doesn't run everywhere. That's why I'll be the stopping point is because we're going to have to let this dry good. Make sure glue comes out on the sides because we want a lot of glue in there. Hit the camera. There we go. I want that glue pop out just like that on it. All right. Gonna be long enough? It's not gonna be long enough. Just like that. There we go. Alright, that's in there. It's snug. Glue's coming out on the sides the way we want it. Alright. Let this puppy set and all right, so we got that down. All right, so time to just let it glue up. Moving on to something else while that's drying. So I think for the bridge, I'm gonna use a piece of red oak, and I got a little pattern right here that I use for bridges for lyres, but that'll work. And we'll make the bridge look like that. What we'll do is we'll take the table saw and cut across right here just a little bit, just enough to countersink a piece of bone. Our bone will be for the bridge, and our bone will come across like that, and that way we'll have something for our string to rest on. And what we'll do is we'll put a couple tacks back here, and then the string can come across the nut, and that'll be our bridge. I think it's gonna look good. We'll use our sled again and barely put the blade up and rip a gouge going all the way down the line right here, and then that way our nut will set in it, and then we'll start. Well, I cut it, and like you said, it gives that little groove, down it, and that little groove. The band table saw blade is just wide enough that our nut will fit into it. So now, now we can push that nut down in there, and our nut will stay in place when we go to our bone nut will stay in place when we go to put it on. All we gotta do is shape shake the nut, and then there we go. You know, we have a nut right there. That way our strings will attach right here, come across, and we're looking. You know, we're looking at something. We're gonna be looking at something like that. Cut it out with the bandsaw. Get the rough cut. We'll use the belt sander to clean it up. Time to change belts. Looking good though. All right, but that's going to be our bridge. I got it shaped up. Shaped up the corners, the sides a little bit, rounded off, kind of angled it very slightly in the front right here. And like I said, that'll sit in there, and that's going to be our bridge. We'll put a screw here and a screw here to help it stay on, and we'll underneath the soundboard we'll put like a little strip of wood. That way the screws will bite into it, and that's going to be our bridge. She's going to look good when we're done. It's going to be just like that, you know. Probably about right there. Give or take about right up in that area, right up in there. That'll be our bridge. Taking the bill truss. Would show when you do it. But the amazing thing about GoPros is that the GoPros come out with all these new models and new features with the same problems, the same freezing up and stuff like that. It's amazing how they do that. Basically 2 pilot holes right here for the help and support it to when we go to put it on the soundboard. Hopefully it's recording this time.